Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Casual Comic Collector. So today I have got this absolute beauty of a book for you today. It's the Absolute Preacher Volume 1. It's been out for a while, but only managed to pick it up recently. I've read the series in the past. I loved it, really enjoyed it, and yeah, I just can't wait to see what it all looks like in this oversized sort of deluxe format. So let's get the wrapping off. Right, so there you go. Absolute Preacher Volume 1 has a cover price of 150 US dollars and includes issues numbers 1 through 26 and probably a bunch of extras. So that's it comes in a nice slipcase. So that's the front of the slipcase, the sides, and then the back. And then the book itself has a really nice sort of leather effect to it. I think it's meant to look like sort of an old style Bible. So you've got sort of nice detail there, sort of, yeah, like the leather effect. You got Preacher on the front and sort of vertigo print there on the back. Right, so before I go through it, let's have a quick look at the binding. So I think, as you would expect, the binding, it's a sewn binding. It just yeah, the quality is really good. I think with most, if not all, absolutes, they really make the effort to get the binding right. I mean, the pages are really sort of thick stock, really good quality. So the book, I mean, in itself is very heavy, stays open quite nicely. You don't get any gutter loss at all. And even when you've got it open at the front, the pages don't flip over, so it stays open nicely. And the same is true at the end. So yeah, all in all, just, yeah, really high quality bind on this one. So let's have a flip through. I mean, so as with most absolutes, the quality is exceptional. So you've got, first off, the oversized format of it, which is just makes it that much better to read compared to the normal trade paperback or single issue size. And I mean, as with this, with Preacher specifically, it's such a good story. I mean, I think it's one of these key comics that came out years ago that really changed the landscape of comics. It was one of these, kind of like Watchmen, I suppose, that where people realized that comics could be more grown up and you know, could actually have a great story and great characters. But it has been a while since I've read it, so I'm actually looking forward to going through it again. I mean, I think most people probably have heard of this series, and probably would have read it as well. But I suppose for those who haven't, the brief overview, or the brief sort of summary of it, would be that you've got Jesse Custer, the main character. He is the titular preacher who, by some divine accident or coincidence, is granted the word of God, so he can basically command people to do what he says. So which obviously opens up sort of a world of possibility for him to do quite sort of nasty things. But I think the nice thing about this is that ultimately he's a good person at heart, so he's the kind of character who is a good character, good guy, gets thrown into a lot of shitty situations. So he does, use the word to get out of some scrapes, but he doesn't necessarily take advantage of it and use it to his own, to his own gain. And he's got an interesting past, quite a sort of brutal past, which ends up catching up to him a little. And yeah, you just get a lot of really weird characters showing up. One of his best buddies is a vampire, for example. There you go. So yeah, just all in all, a very weird series, but just a fantastic one, really. It's a really, really good read. I mean, just looking at these pages reminds me of the story, and it just reminds me of how much I enjoyed it the first time I read it. And then you get a good chunk, nice chunk of extras at the end. So, reprinted letters pages, which could be quite fun to go through. Scripts, and then a gallery. And I think one of the things about this also, if I think all or most of the covers were for the individual issues were drawn by Glenn Fabry, and with this sort of hyper-realistic style, yeah, it was just a really good mix. There you go. And that is pretty much that. Yeah, I mean, I love this series. I think most people do as well. But it's one of these, if you haven't read it yet, I would really recommend it. Definitely pick it up. You won't regret it. But that's it for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I've got a few more videos coming up. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you liked it. But that's it for now. See you soon.